Yo, what up, fight fans? It's your boy G Cams.
What's up? What's up, man? It's Razor Ralph. Big time review for a big time event. This was the biggest event of
our lifetime.
Man, it was like
you
hype beasts and fight fans from far and wide came together to watch
and you
this.
talk about two homies that went to Vegas just for the Pacquiao Mayweather fight.
Damn,
you know what I mean? And this was bigger than that. We didn't even go. So, man,
Huge.
listen. Conor McGregor, all I got to say is I give him a little more credit than I did before, but he still got no business being in there, if you ask me.
I give Conor McGregor a lot of credit, man.
I give him
he came out there, and if you watch our last video, we did say that it was going to be interesting for the first 4 rounds, which exactly it was, because after that he got gassed or whatever. Mayweather took over.
Let's talk about why it was interesting. Simply because Mayweather chose not to throw punches.
You can argue whether it was Mayweather choosing not to, or I mean, he was getting caught too. He said it was strategy.
He was coming in.
He was, but McGregor,
which he kept his word. Let's give Mayweather a lot of credit for keeping his word, because a lot of people thought he wasn't going to come in. He's too defensive.
I said that.
Put the hands up and came in there, and he ate some shots, because that's what happens when you're coming forward.
But McGregor's style was so awkward. His footwork was he impressed me.
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to be sheer his ability as a fighter to just come forward and just throw wild punches and catch Mayweather with stuff. But he showed me that, listen, man, boxers should be embarrassed. But, Canelo, Pacquiao, these guys should feel embarrassed that an MMA guy came in and landed more punches. Now, of course, boxing people are going to say, oh, yeah, well, Mayweather didn't go forward. He was more defensive with them. Yeah. Regardless, man, no one's trying to get hit. But he might have come forward, but he didn't throw any punches. He took a few punches in the beginning, but he was trying to strategize and still getting caught with some crazy punches that were awkward.
A lot of that fight played out the way it did simply because Mayweather, let's face it, man, he's older. It showed. He missed a lot of punches that he normally makes. A lot of
you saw him get sharper as he went on.
Yeah, he was missing a lot of punches that he normally never misses. Yeah. Hey, Mayweather aged. But he fought the perfect fighter for his age. Because you asked me if he fought a real fighter, a real boxer, it might have been a different story. You know what I mean? Because a real boxer is going to come in a little more heat than McGregor did. But I give McGregor credit because my man, he came in there. It looked like he was scared from the beginning, but he didn't. He went in there, gave it everything he had. He wasn't he ain't run. I mean, he did kind of run.
He didn't come in there trying to be lucky. He was trying to fight.
He was trying to box.
And I respect that.
And I give him credit for that. He had a game plan. His team had a game plan.
But what do we say? At the end of the day, UFC doesn't belong with boxing, especially with one of the best of all time. Even at age 40, you can't fuck with him.
And Mayweather was probably like, that night, you asked me, he was like 60% of the fighter he ever won.
I mean? You saw it. It was evident. At the press conference, he said, "You feel any aging?" And he said, "No, not at all. I felt great in there, but we saw it. We know it. Of course, he's an undefeated champion. No man wants to say like, oh yeah, I felt worse.
I mean, that's the type of thinking that got him where he is.
Exactly.
So he'll never going to be like, oh no, I didn't feel
full
great.
Confidence in himself.
No champion at that level will ever think they're not good or they took a step back. But Mayweather just showed you why he's great though, man. Because the way he planned that fight was to come in, force the action to McGregor, and he knew that McGregor was going to fade towards the end because McGregor never been 12 rounds. McGregor fights 25 minutes tops.
And in those 25 minutes,
he gets gas. What's he going to do in a 36-minute fight? You know what I mean?
Which brings me to, was the stoppage too early or just at the right time in your opinion?
I think he was. The only thing that stoppage prevented was McGregor getting knocked out cold. Not knocked out cold, but knocked down.
Yeah,
he was on his way down.
He should have got. I think he should have been down.
The dude held on to
the rope.
Mayweather in the round before that, round 9. He was gonna go down in round 9.
Was really
and he
nice.
held Mayweather's waist. towards the end, and then round 10 he came back with his last stand. Like that round opened up.
Or no, just at the open. Yeah, he came out to fight because he got hurt, man. Yeah, he got hurt.
And you give him credit for that. But once that faded in the first 30 seconds of that round, it was just all Mayweather teeing off. And the only reason that didn't get stopped earlier is because Mayweather lost. Like I said, he lost a little bit, so he wasn't. Like, he was missing a couple of those shots.
Oh, yeah. He was getting a little wild.
He was getting a little wild. So.
But I would, even though I do personally believe that the stoppage was, I have no problem with it. He stopped it. But I would have liked for him to just let him get knocked down.
My thing is.
Just because it would have been more of a statement.
My thing is, for that much money and that much anticipation, somebody should have went down.
You're right.
And that when you think about it like that,
$100 pay-per-view,
$100 pay-per-view, people paid minimum $5,000 just to be in the arena. You want to see somebody get hurt. Somebody got it. Some knees got to touch the canvas. So that being said, that's the only reason. If anyone could argue the stoppage was too early, that'd be it. You know what I mean? Outside of that, I thought it was a great fight.
It was at the right time. He had nothing left.
Yeah, he had nothing left.
Like my man Paulie was saying that this dude didn't even throw a punch while getting hit for the I don't know how long.
I think it was like the last minute or something.
Yeah. So at that point, the ref has no choice. So I respect it. Yeah. I would have liked to see him get knocked down just because of all that shit he was talking.
I mean, and let's not forget all these injuries that some boxers have been suffering that don't go mainstream, like that dude Pritchard Colon. That dude is still in he's not in a coma, but he'll never fight again.
Yeah.
Just from injuries he sustained from a fight. So the boxing community is very they're very
and it's been going on for years. That's just recent.
So they're just really trying to prevent all those those terminal injuries, those injuries that are life changing. They don't want to see that stuff like that, especially happening to McGregor. He's like he got so much more money to make. Why have him take a bunch of extra shots that could probably
how much
do
was
damage?
That suck that this dude comes from bouncing heads off the canvas, taking shins to the face, and then he gets hurt in a boxing match. So that would have
head was bouncing off.
His head was about to bounce.
Yeah. So that would have been funny, but honestly, he was just the refs just trying to prevent injuries.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, we all knew after round 9, I think everyone
it was over.
Knew
it was over.
It was only a matter of time. But you know what I mean?
Conor McGregor really showed me that he has a future in the sport of boxing, and he could earn a lot more money than in UFC. Because, hey man.
There's some sharks out there.
Mayweather showed you how he's a shark and he dragged him in that deep water.
There's some sharks out there, man.
But this guy, his style is so different, man. He is special. That dude is special. I did not see him getting this. I didn't see the fight as him taking the first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those first few rounds, the way he did. I thought it'd be interesting, but I didn't think it'd be the way he did it.
Let me say this.
Do you remember that when he switched? The way he was his defense is pretty good too. He was able to slip punches. He was timing some of them punches. Now, a 60% Mayweather is 100% champion.
That has a lot to do with Mayweather's deterioration.
Like I just said, a 60% Mayweather is still 100% champion in another on one of these other clowns.
Yeah. True.
Now I'm not talking about Errol Spence and the Charlos and guys like this. These are really special dudes.
The only way McGregor is gonna be a decent fighter is if he starts the same way every other fighter starts, fighting some bums, getting his body used to the game, used to the 3 minutes, used to, the higher paced activity of boxing. And, getting used to the moves, man, because every time he got behind Mayweather, his dude would hammer fist.
You can't be doing that.
You can't be doing that, man.
Can't be doing that, bro.
The ref, I had to honestly let him get away. He should have got a point taken away, if you ask me.
I think the ref was told that this guy's probably going to do stuff like that. Don't fuck it up. Because if that was any other guy, he would have got disqualified at that point.
That's rabbit
because he just kept doing it.
That's the back of his head. And you could see, McGregor, he couldn't even control himself at some points. He was like, what did I do? You know what I mean? So he gotta start from scratch. Fight some bums, fight some dudes with losing records, build his career, build his record, build his experience. And then when he gets to the top, who knows, man? No, he could definitely challenge some real fighters because he showed that he got the blueprint. He got the blueprint. He just needs to refine his game and do the hard work.
Thoroughly impressed with him, man. Even in defeat, I was very impressed by him. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I didn't foresee him doing as well as he did.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can say a lot. A lot is owed to Floyd's deterioration and old age, but it is what it is.
But yeah,
great fight, great
it was
night.
A great fight. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, man.
It was a great time.
Fan of the fight game, fan of the sport, and
it put boxing back in the public eye. You know what I mean? Yeah. Every clown went and watched it. Not just like, I mean, people, the people who are into boxing, people in UFC, and people who had no interest in it still showed up to watch. And that makes me happy that it was on center stage again.
So it was beautiful to see, man. I love that. My favorite sport was running the world for the last 2 months, you know. And holler us when you see us in the street. You hear me now?
Peace.